That's what we're making right there. Hey, Sue, this one's for you. Which one? That one. Hello. So this is sometimes what I do before the video. Get everything ready. That's what I'm doing today, just dicing potatoes. You know, that's nothing too difficult and doesn't have to be anything special. So, but I thought I would at least include you and let you know everything's done fresh right here. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Hey, today I'm going to be making bangers and mash. This I decided to do because I have a lady. She writes into Texas Cooking Today on YouTube. She writes in on my Facebook. She's one of my viewers and somebody that keeps up with what I do. So Sue, and you know who I'm talking about, Sue in Great Britain, Sue in England. We're going to be doing some bangers and mash, and it's because of you. You inspired me to do this, okay? I am really looking forward to this. I've got some great ingredients here, some beautiful stuff to cook up, and I'm ready to get at it. However, I want to mention, please, before we jump into the cooking, look in the description box. That's where you're going to find links to my website. That's where I have my recipes. It's PDF format, and they are really good. Also, got some aprons, caps, and other stuff for Texas Cooking Today. Check that out. It's really cool. And let's get into this, because this stuff right here, this is really cool. Even though it's very basic and simple, it yields delicious. Come on over. I got beautiful ingredients to work with today. Back here, I've already diced up some potatoes. Now I have enough mash or enough potatoes here to do mash for 2 to 4 people, depending on the size of serving. I'm going to say it's a good healthy serving for 2, and I've got enough bangers here for the same kind of thinking. All right, now bangers. What's a banger? That's just a sausage, folks. All right, it's just a small sausage. I have these. These are made in Texas. They're all beef sausage, of course. Yeah, And we're going to be using these guys. Also some beef broth, a beautiful red onion. I've got some green onions out here, butter, sour cream, MSG, believe it or not, yeah. Some parsley, salt, and we've already discussed the potatoes. Folks, simple stuff equals delicious food when it's done the right way. Now, if I want to do this dish, first thing I've got to do is get my potatoes cooked up. I'm using a russet potato. Get them back here. Oop. I keep doing that. My old stove, my back burner was left knob and the front burner was the right knob, and now it's reversed and it's driving me nuts. Here we go. Here we are. Taters up and cooking. I'm going to put a lid on this so it'll come to a boil a little faster. As soon as it's up and boiling, we're going to give it enough time to allow those potatoes to cook until they break apart easily. Now, this is the longest part of the cook, so I'm going to start it and let it kind of just do its thing. Normally, I would be using this time to prep other stuff, and I will do that. We're going to be cutting up these green onions. My sausages are ready to go. Everything else I've got measured out. But the onions, both the red onion as well as those green onions, both need to be worked on. All right, we need to get these cut up. And I'm just looking for some small slices of onion, but I'll usually get them a little larger as I graduate to the green end. And I'm going to use every bit of what I have here. Get back on that board. There we go. All right. Now I'll do things like this when I am cooking, and this just makes life so much easier. You don't want to do this when you've already got your mash made. You want to have this already ready so that when the mash is made, you can just fold these right in, okay? A little prep work makes life easy. So for this, we don't need a whole lot of onion. We just need some sliced onion to make a beautiful onion gravy. I'm going to use the larger one that I have. That one's a little thick. So I was trying to cut all of those as thin as I could, and one slice got a little bit thick. That one won't matter. That'll just be the onion that stands out for me. Now, this, you don't have to do a lot of processing on your onion, okay? But just cut them down a little bit from that thin slice, and we are ready to go. All right, now I'm gonna break out a little item I have. Now this, I'm going to be using a food mill. There's a lot of different ways of doing mashed potatoes. The really fine sieve like this is used for fine sauces. The really wide sieve is great for mashed potatoes. A smooth mashed potato that's perfect with no lumps will be gained with this one. So whichever you prefer. I don't mind a few little lumps, so I'm going to go with that. Now, a food mill also has a paddle, and that's this guy. And what this thing does is it just takes the food and shoves it straight down through this into whatever you have the food mill sitting on top of. I really recommend one of these if you don't have one. And the beauty of this, the potato has starch chains. We're going to break those starch chains apart. And when that happens, the potato gets light and fluffy. That will give us great mash, okay? And if I do much stirring or working of the potatoes or use a masher, it makes the potato bond back together and you becomes out kind of stiff. It's not light and fluffy. All right, it appears that my potatoes have come to a boil. That's where I start on everything else. Now I'm gonna get this center burner up and going. Big old hot thing, and we're going to heat this pan up. I want it good and fiery hot because I'm going to get a nice brown on the outside of my sausages, and at the same time I also need to caramelize my onions, and we're going to be doing that side by side in our pan. As I usually do, I'm going to test my pan for the heat, and that isn't really hot enough. I want my pan usually just a little hotter than that when I start working on frying anything, if I want to sear. Now, I'm not so much looking to sear these sausages. I just want them to cook and brown well. So that tells me the pan's getting good and hot. We're getting very close to that searing temperature. I'm just going to use a little bit of oil to begin with. I'm not worried about my sausages sticking, but I'm going to need oil in there for the onions in just a little bit. All right, we'll get those cooking up. All right, those are starting to give me a little crackling and popping noises, just the way we're wanting. I'm going to put my onion down in here. We're going to get that cooking. Now what I'm looking for is a little bit of caramelization on this onion. I want to break it down nicely. Not quite as much as I would do for French onion soup, but certainly I want it cooked well. Some nice browning on it would be lovely. Get a good sweet flavor. And while we're here, let's check our potatoes. And see, I can push my fork in it. That potato is firm and it hangs on. They're not done. The potato needs to break apart easily. Now the aroma is just incredible. It's stellar. Onions with these beautiful sausages. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. All right. Now I have got my onion cooked down right about where I want it. My sausage looks beautiful, all right? It's got some seared places on it. It's just doing well all the way around. Now I'm going to pull these onions over to the side. I'm going to prepare my beef broth that I'm going to use in this for my gravy. And I'm going to be putting some cornstarch in my beef broth, okay? I'm going to get a bit of cornstarch. Doesn't take a lot. I've got about 1.5 tablespoons or maybe a little more there. My I just want to get that thoroughly mixed in, and then I'm going to put it right down into my pan, and that will thicken and turn into a beautiful gravy. It's also going to break loose everything on the bottom of that pan as far as the fond goes. So we get multiple action going on here. All right, so we have those onions that have been cooking up. Get this down in here. Yeah. Now here's the thing, if this gravy gets a little on the thick side, don't worry about that. Just add a little water and it'll be just fine. Right now, we just got to give it some chance to cook. Oh yeah. I'm just using that sausage to mop up that gravy. There we go. Now I'm going to let this sit and just gently simmer, and I have it down over a low heat at this point. It can do its thing. Let's take another look at our potatoes. I would bet they are getting close. Oh yeah, very tender, just breaks right apart. Those potatoes are ready to go. I've got my food mill ready, and what I do is I pour my potatoes straight through the food mill. It's my colander. There we go. Food mill right back on there. This gets easy at this point. Now the mash, getting ready to start it. This is simple enough, folks. I'm going to put my butter right there, right over the top of it, okay? Put my sour cream in there. And if you notice, I'm doing all this before I create the mash. Okay, all right. Heavy cream right there. I need a sprinkle of salt. Potatoes are salt thirsty, so it'll probably need just a little bit more than that. A light dashing with some MSG, only if that's the kind of thing you like. There we go. Now, all I have to do is crank my mill. Wasn't that easy? I'll use this little bitty spatula that I had. Why not? Hey, if you got it handy, go with it, right? So as you've seen from just that right there, this doesn't take very long, because this thing works like super fast once you've got it in gear and going. This little guy is finished. All right, now I want to take this, add in these guys. All right, yes. All right, now we have a perfect mash. The trick here is that we don't over process it. If I go working this and spinning it and doing anything other than just gently folding, I'm going to break it back down. It's going to get stiff. It's going to get doughy, and I don't want that. I don't want stiff. I don't want doughy. I want light and fluffy, genuinely delicious. And that's it right there, folks. Light, fluffy mash. The bangers are ready to go. We're ready to eat. Now the quantity of everything I've used, as you've seen today, I used 4 sausages, and I used a couple of pounds of potatoes. I just used the little ones, cut them up. I think I used about 8 small potatoes, and so there wasn't a lot of potatoes there, but enough to do the job. I have 1 cup of beef broth, and on those potatoes we used 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of sour cream, and 1/4 cup of heavy cream. On the onion, you're looking for anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 of a thinly sliced red onion, and you can go with a yellow onion on this if you want, but I really like the flavor of that red. And 3 chopped green onions, a little bit of garnish to go with it, and as you've seen, a pinch of salt and MSG, and you adjust that salt to your own taste for your mash. Folks, it was easy. Let's take a look at the finished product though. We start with that beautiful mash right here. Now folks, I'm one of those, I just love gravy with my mashed taters. It's always like a spot for it right there. Now, what I need, a couple of beautiful sausages on this plate, and I need some of that gravy. Look at that. Oh, yeah. So folks, beautiful, right there. Bangers and mash, ready for you to enjoy. I hope you like this. Let's get in here and hit it with something that makes it look just a little more rosy. There we go. A little garnish never hurt. Well, we've got it all plated up, looking beautiful and delicious. I just can't wait to dig in and enjoy. Well, now, I am really looking forward to this. Oh, wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful. It's cased sausage. Just love that. Get some of that mash right there. Oh, yeah. Extra gravy. That looks just flat delicious. Basic. Delicious. All right. This is just definitely on spot, and I'm absolutely certain that you're going to love it. So folks, please enjoy this meal. It's delicious, it's robust, it's rich in culture and heritage. I don't know if I got it right. Sue, you let me know. Did I get this anywhere close to what you like in England? Drop it in the comments if you would, please. Folks, also, if you would take a look in that description box, that's where the link to my website is, where my recipes are in PDF format. And you can also get aprons, caps, and other stuff for Texas Cooking Today right there. Thank you for looking at that. Check out my other social media. Join me there, just like Sue did. Who knows, I might make a dish for you too. Heck yeah. Time for dinner.